The glass shattered against marble like a gunshot in the night. Claire Dawson didn't flinch anymore. She'd learned that flinching only made Garrett angrier. Blood trickled from her split lip as she grabbed her car keys with trembling fingers. Her ribs screamed with every breath. This time was different. This time she knew he'd kill her if she stayed. "You think you can just walk away from me?" Garrett's voice was ice and fire. "You're nothing without me, Claire. Nothing." But she was already moving toward the door. Already choosing life over love. Already becoming someone new. The Honda's engine sputtered as Claire pulled into the gravel lot 3 weeks later. Its dying gas matched her own exhaustion. 21 days on the run. 21 nights of sleeping in the car of truck stop bathrooms and gas station coffee. 21 days of checking the rearview mirror every 30 seconds, waiting for Garrett's Range Rover to appear like a nightmare made metal. She counted the bills one more time. $20. That's what 6 years together had left her. 4 years of marriage that felt like 40. 20 crumpled dollars in a tank running on fumes. The sign hung crooked on the weathered building. Bartender wanted inquirer within. Below it, larger letters in faded paint, "The Devil's Keep." The parking lot was a forest of chrome and leather. 30 Harley-Davidsons, maybe more, their engines ticking as they cooled in the late afternoon sun. This was exactly the kind of place Garrett would never think to look for her. The kind of place that made his country club friends clutch their pearls. She remembered him once drunk at a charity dinner, pointing at a biker across the restaurant. "Criminal shithole people," he'd said. "Society's garbage." Claire checked her reflection in the visor mirror. The bruise on her cheekbone had faded to a sickly yellow-green. She tried to cover it with the last of her drugstore makeup, but nothing could hide the hollow look in her eyes. The way fear had carved itself into her features over 4 years of marriage. "You can do this," she whispered to herself. "You have to do this." The door was solid oak reinforced with iron bands. It took all her strength to pull it open. The smell hit her first: cigarette smoke, stale beer, and something else. Danger, maybe. Or freedom. She couldn't tell the difference anymore. Every head turned when she walked in. 20, maybe 30 men, all wearing the same patch on their backs. A screaming eagle with spread wings clutching a chain. Iron Brotherhood MC, San Bernardino curved above it in Gothic letters. The conversations died like someone had cut the power. Claire's heart hammered against her broken ribs, but she kept walking toward the bar. She'd learned something in the past 4 years. Predators could smell fear. You couldn't show it even when it was eating you alive from the inside. "We're closed." The young man behind the bar couldn't have been more than 23. A spiderweb tattoo crawled up his neck. His hand rested near something under the counter. Probably a gun. "Your sign says you're looking for a bartender." Claire's voice came out stronger than she felt. "I need the job." Laughter erupted from the back corner, rough and sharp. "Did you hear that Bishop little lady here thinks she can work at the Devil's Keep?" The man who stood up made Garrett look like a boy playing dress-up. He was easily 6'4", with a gray beard that reached mid-chest and arms covered in faded ink that told stories of decades on the road. His eyes were the color of steel and just as cold. Bishop Hawk Calloway. She'd learn his name later. Right now, he was just a mountain of leather and muscle walking toward her with the casual confidence of a man who'd never had to fear anything in his life. "You lost, sweetheart." His voice was gravel and whiskey. "This ain't Applebee's. We don't serve mojitos and pumpkin spice lattes. I can work a bar." Claire held his gaze, even though every instinct screamed at her to run. "I can pour beer-mixed drinks, handle drunk men who think they're God's gift. I show up on time. I don't steal, and I don't cause drama." "Oh, you don't cause drama." Bishop's smile didn't reach his eyes. He moved closer, studying her like a specimen under glass. "Then what's that bruise on your face? What's with the way you're holding your ribs? You bring someone's drama to my door, girl, and you won't walk back out." The threat hung in the air like smoke. Claire felt 30 pairs of eyes on her back, weighing her, judging her, deciding if she was worth the trouble. "Nobody knows I'm here." The truth of it made her voice crack. "Nobody's looking for me here. Nobody would think to look for me here." Something shifted in Bishop's expression. Just for a moment, the steel in his eyes softened into something that might have been understanding. Or maybe recognition. He studied her for what felt like an hour but was probably only seconds. The bar had gone completely silent. Even the jukebox seemed to be holding its breath. You ever work a bar before? Summers during college. Mickey's Tavern in Santa Monica. 3 years. Mickey's. Bishop snorted. Beach bar serving daiquiris to tourists. Real rough crowd. I handled bikers there too. Different club, but same attitude. Claire straightened her spine, ignoring the pain that shot through her ribs like lightning. You think you're the first guys to try to intimidate me? The room went quiet again, but this time it felt different, more dangerous. Bishop's eyes narrowed. You got a mouth on you. You got a help wanted sign out front. I need work. You need a bartender. We doing business or not? Someone whistled from the back. She's got balls, Bishop. I'll give her that. Balls don't pour beer. But Bishop was almost smiling now. Almost. You know anything about running a cash register inventory? Cutting people off when they've had too much. I know how to count money, and I know when someone's about to start a fight. I'm guessing that's 90% of the job. The other 10% is staying alive. Bishop leaned against the bar, his massive arms crossed. This ain't a regular bar, girl. We got rules here. Brotherhood rules. You break them, you're out. You disrespect a member, you're out. You steal from us, you don't walk out. You understand what I'm saying? Claire understood. She understood that these men lived by a code that had nothing to do with laws or courts or police reports that got buried when your husband played golf with the district attorney. I understand. You got a place to stay. The question caught her off guard. I'll figure something out. That's a no. Bishop turned to the young bartender. Ash, we still got that room upstairs. The one above the storage room. Yeah, but it's full of... Clear it out. She starts tonight. Trial run. Bishop looked back at Claire. You make it through the weekend without crying, running, or getting yourself killed. We'll talk about making it permanent. Pays minimum wage plus tips. Tips are usually good if the brothers like you. If they don't, he shrugged. You won't last long enough to worry about it. When do I start? You're behind the bar in 20 minutes. Ash will show you where everything is. Friday nights get rough. Bishop's eyes held hers. You sure you want this? Claire thought about the $20 in her pocket, about sleeping in her car again, about Garrett's hand around her throat, his voice promising that he'd find her, that she belonged to him, that death was the only way out. I'm sure. Then get to work. Bishop walked back to his table. Conversation resumed like she'd already been dismissed, but she caught the look he exchanged with a lean man in the corner. Dark-haired, dangerous eyes, a scar running through his left eyebrow. That man nodded once, a gesture so small she almost missed it. Ash came around the bar. Up close, she could see he was nervous, his hands slightly shaking as he pulled down bottles. You really worked a bar before? Yeah, you. 3 months. I'm what they call a prospect, trying to earn my patch. He started showing her the layout. Beer taps are here, top shelf's up there. Well, drinks are bottom rail. Most guys drink beer or whiskey straight. Keep the drink strong and the conversation light. Don't flirt, don't judge, and for God's sake, don't stare at anyone's old lady. Old lady, girlfriend, wife, whatever. You look at a member's woman the wrong way, you'll have problems. You let some drunk civilian hit on one, you'll have worse problems. Ash's voice dropped. This whole place is a minefield. One wrong step. I got it. Claire washed her hands in the small sink, wincing as the water hit her scraped knuckles. What about him, the guy Bishop looked at? Colt. Ash's voice dropped even lower. Club enforcer, he handles problems, internal problems, external problems, all problems. You see Colt heading your way, you better be ready to explain whatever you did wrong. What if I didn't do anything wrong? Then he's probably coming to warn you about something. Either way, when Colt talks, you listen. The door opened and more men filed in. The weekend crowd, Claire guessed. They ranged from their 20s to their 60s, all wearing cuts, the leather vests that marked them as members. Some had women with them, hard-eyed ladies who'd clearly earned their place in this world. Here we go, Ash muttered. Remember, strong drinks, light conversation. The first guy who approached the bar was huge with a red beard and kind eyes that didn't quite match his intimidating size. You're new. Started about 5 minutes ago. Claire pulled out a glass. What can I get you? Jack and Coke, heavy on the Jack. He studied her face, his expression softening when he saw the bruise. Bishop know what he's doing hiring you. Guess we'll find out. She made his drink. years of muscle memory taking over. Poor Mick slid across the bar. He took a sip and nodded. Not bad. What's your name? Claire. I'm Wrench. You need anything, you let me know. Anyone gives you real trouble, you tell Ash, or you come find me. His voice was gentle despite his size. We got rules here. And rule number 1 is we don't hurt women. Not ever. Something loosened in Claire's chest, a knot she didn't know she'd been holding. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Wait till you survive your first Friday night. But he was smiling when he said it. The night accelerated into chaos. Men crowded 3 deep at the bar, shouting orders, slamming down money, arguing about everything from politics to football to which bike was superior. Claire poured drinks with mechanical precision, making change, wiping spills, deflecting crude jokes with practiced ease. A hand grabbed her wrist as she set down a beer. The man attached to it was drunk, his breath sour with whiskey. Young, maybe mid-20s, with the cocky swagger of someone who'd never been told no. Hey, sweetheart, how about you and me? Let go. Her voice was ice. Come on, don't be like that. I said let go. She looked straight into his eyes, and whatever he saw there made him release her immediately. Wrench appeared at the man's shoulder, seeming to materialize out of thin air. Problem, Marco. No problem, man. Just being friendly. She asked you to let go. That means let go. We clear. Marco mumbled something and retreated to the back. Wrench caught Claire's eye and nodded once before disappearing back into the crowd. 2 hours in, a fight broke out near the pool table. Claire saw it coming before the first punch was thrown. She'd watched the tension building the way the 2 men circled each other like dogs about to snap. She hit the bell behind the bar 3 times. Hard. The room went silent. Bishop stood up. Outside, both of you. You want to kill each other, do it in the parking lot. Bleed on my floor, and you're both paying for new tile. The fighter stumbled out. The noise level returned to normal, like violence was just part of the evening's entertainment. Good call on the bell, Ash said quietly. That's the signal. Saved us some broken furniture. By midnight, Claire's feet were screaming, and her ribs felt like someone was driving nails into them with every breath. But she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. This job was survival, and she'd survived worse. A woman approached the bar, late 30s, bottle blonde, wearing enough leather to make a jacket. Her eyes were sharp and assessing. Whiskey sour, and make it right. I can tell when someone doesn't know what they're doing. Claire made the drink exactly how she'd learned at Mickey's. The woman took a sip and raised an eyebrow. Not bad, I'm Raven. Colt's old lady. Claire. Yeah, I heard. Whole club's talking about you. Bishop doesn't usually hire outsiders, especially not women. You must have really impressed him. Or he needed a bartender bad enough to take a chance. Raven laughed, the sound genuine and warm. Girl, Bishop doesn't take chances. He knew exactly what he was doing when he hired you. Question is, do you know what you got yourself into? Honestly, no idea. At least you're honest. Raven leaned in closer, her voice dropping. Word of advice. These men will test you. Push your boundaries. See what you're made of. You stand your ground, they'll respect you. You show weakness, they'll eat you alive. It's not personal. It's just how this world works. What if I've got nothing left to be weak with? Raven's eyes softened with understanding. Then you're exactly where you need to be. At 2 a.m., Bishop called last call. The crowd thinned slowly, reluctantly. Claire's hands were raw from washing glasses. Her back ached from standing. But she'd made it through. Ash counted the register while Claire wiped down the bar. 340 in tips. We split them 50-50 since it's your first night. He counted out bills. 170. More money than she'd had in weeks. Claire felt tears threatening and blinked them back hard. You did good, Ash continued. Really good. I thought you'd run after the first hour. I don't run anymore. Yeah, he glanced at her bruised face. I can see that. Bishop appeared from the back office. Ash, head home. I want to talk to Claire alone. Ash left immediately. Claire stood behind the bar, exhaustion making her sway slightly. Whatever test this was, she'd face it standing. You made it through a Friday night. Bishop pulled out a bottle of good whiskey, not the well stuff, and poured 2 glasses. That's more than the last 3 bartenders that we hired. What happened to them? 2 quit after 1 shift. 1 stole from the register. He shrugged. Had to leave town real quick. I don't steal. I know. I was watching you all night. Watched how you handled Marco when he grabbed you. Watched you call that fight before it started. Watched you treat Raven with respect even though she was testing you. He slid one glass across the bar. You're running from something bad. Don't bother denying it. I've seen enough runners to know the look. Claire took the glass but didn't drink. You going to kick me out? Depends. This trouble coming for you, is it the kind that brings cops, feds, rivals? It's the kind that wears expensive suits and donates to police charities. The kind that has lawyers on speed dial and judges who owe him favors. The whiskey burned going down, but it was a good burn. Clean. He's connected, he's angry, and he doesn't like losing things he considers his property. Husband was. He know you're here. No, I drove 300 miles in random directions, paid cash for everything, didn't use my phone, my credit cards, anything he could trace. I've been sleeping in my car for 3 weeks. She met Bishop's eyes. I've got nowhere else to go. This is it. This is my last chance. Bishop was quiet for a long moment. The silence stretched between them like a living thing. We don't get involved in domestic situations, he said finally. That's a rule. Your personal life stays personal. Claire's heart sank. I understand. But, he continued, we also don't let outsiders disrespect our people. You work here, you're under our roof. That makes you ours to protect. Your ex shows up making trouble, that becomes club business. You understand the difference? I think so. Good. Room upstairs is yours. Ash cleared out most of the junk. It's not much bed dresser, mini fridge. Bathroom's shared with storage, but it locks. You keep the place clean. You don't bring anyone up there without permission. And you don't steal from inventory. Thank you. The words felt inadequate for what he was offering. Safety, shelter, a chance to rebuild. Don't thank me yet. You're still on trial. Weekend's not over. Saturday night's usually worse than Friday. You make it through tomorrow, we'll talk permanent position. He finished his whiskey and stood. Get some sleep. Be back down here by 4 p.m. to help Ash set up. Claire followed him to a narrow staircase behind the storage room. The room upstairs was exactly as he described. Basic, clean, a small window overlooking the parking lot. The bed had fresh sheets. The dresser was empty, waiting for belongings she didn't have. She locked the door, tested the window lock twice, then collapsed onto the bed fully clothed. Through the thin walls, she could hear the rumble of motorcycles starting up, the shouted goodbyes, the slowly fading noise of the club clearing out. For the first time in 3 weeks, she felt something close to safe. Her phone buzzed in her purse. She'd turned it off weeks ago, but muscle memory made her check it. 37 missed calls, 63 texts, all from Garrett. The newest text was from an hour ago. I will find you. You can't hide from me. You're my wife. You belong to me. Claire deleted every message, every voicemail notification. Then she turned the phone completely off and shoved it to the bottom of her purse. That life was over. That woman who'd believed in love and marriage and happily ever after, she was dead. She died somewhere between the first slap and the last chokehold. The woman who remained was someone new, someone harder, someone who could survive in a world of outlaws and violence because she'd already survived worse. She closed her eyes and let exhaustion drag her under the rumble of a lone motorcycle in the parking lot below, sounding almost like a lullaby. Saturday afternoon. Sunlight cut through the window like a knife, dragging Claire from sleep so deep it felt like drowning. Her body screamed in protest as she sat up, every muscle stiff, every bruise throbbing with fresh intensity. The clock on the dresser read 3:47 p.m., 13 minutes to get downstairs. She splashed cold water on her face in the shared bathroom, avoiding her reflection. The woman in the mirror looked like a ghost, hollow-eyed, bruised, broken. But Ghost didn't pour drinks. Ghost didn't survive. Ash was already behind the bar when she came down, his movements quick and efficient as he restocked bottles. Thought maybe you'd run during the night, he said without looking up. Where would I go? Smart answer. He tossed her a clean bar towel. Saturdays are different. Friday night's the regulars letting off steam. Saturday brings in the whole chapter guys from the charter cities, nomads passing through, sometimes guests from other clubs. More people means more testosterone means more stupid decisions. How many are we talking? Last Saturday, we had maybe 70, 80 people packed in here. Bar was 4 deep all night. He finally looked at her, his expression serious. You need to understand something. These men live by a code, but that code's got nothing to do with regular society. Someone disrespects the club, there's consequences. Someone breaks the rules, there's consequences. You're serving drinks to people who've killed, who've been to prison, who die for their brothers without thinking twice. You trying to scare me? I'm trying to prepare you. Ash pulled out the cash register drawer, counting the starting bills. Last bartender quit because she saw Colt break a guy's arm right there by the pool table. Bones sticking out through the skin. Blood everywhere. She just walked out mid-shift. Didn't even take her purse. What did the guy do? Stole from a member. Ash met her eyes. That's the consequence. The first members arrived at 5, and Claire felt the energy shift immediately. These weren't the comfortable regulars from Friday night. These men moved differently, harder, more dangerous. Their cuts bore more patches, more rank, more history written in leather and ink. Wrench walked in with Raven on his arm, and Claire felt a small measure of relief at seeing familiar faces. Claire, Raven's smile was genuine. You survived. Bishop owes me $20. I bet on you lasting. People were betting against me. Honey, people were betting on you not making it past 9 p.m. She leaned across the bar. But you're still here, so fuck them all. Usual for Wrench, and I'll take a vodka cranberry. Claire made their drinks as more bodies filled the bar. The noise level rose steadily. Engines outside. Voices inside. Music from the jukebox competing with shouted conversations. A group of men came in wearing cuts that said Nomad on the bottom rocker. They moved to the bar with the casual arrogance of people who belonged everywhere and nowhere. Who's the fresh meat? The one who spoke had a scar running from his ear to his collarbone, thick and ropey, like someone had tried to take his head off. New bartender, Ash said quickly. Claire, this is Reaper. He's the road captain. I can introduce myself, prospect. Reaper's eyes never left Claire's face. You're awful pretty to be working a place like this. Awful pretty and awful bruised up. Someone teach you a lesson recently. Someone tried. Claire set down a glass. What can I get you? Whiskey neat and some conversation. Fresh out of conversation, plenty of whiskey though. Reaper laughed, a sound like gravel grinding. She's got spine, I'll give her that. He slapped down a 20 for a $7 drink. Keep it. I like a woman who doesn't kiss ass. By 7 p.m. the bar was packed. Bodies pressed against bodies. The air thick with smoke and sweat and danger. Claire moved on autopilot, pouring drinks, making change, deflecting advances. Her ribs sent sharp pains through her chest with every breath, but she didn't slow down. Claire. Colt's voice cut through the noise like a blade. She turned to find the club enforcer standing at the bar, his dark eyes unreadable. Up close, the scar through his eyebrow looked like it had been stitched by someone who didn't care about cosmetic results. Mr. Colt. Just Colt. We need to talk. Her stomach dropped. Did I do something wrong? Not yet, but I need you to understand something. He leaned in closer, his voice dropping. You see that table in the back corner? 6 guys all wearing Viper cuts. Claire glanced over. The men Colt indicated sat separate from the Iron Brotherhood, their body language radiating tension. I see them. They're rivals, here for a sit-down with Bishop about territory disputes. It's neutral ground tonight, which means no fighting, no disrespect, no problems. But tempers are high and whiskey makes men stupid. You see any situation developing with those guys, you come get me or Bishop immediately. Don't try to handle it yourself. Understood? Understood. One more thing. Colt's eyes locked onto hers. You got secrets that'll bring trouble to this club. My trouble doesn't know where I am. I made sure of it. You better be right about that. Because if violence comes through that door looking for you, we'll protect you. But after you'll answer for bringing it here. Clear. Crystal. Colt nodded once and disappeared back into the crowd. Claire's hands trembled as she reached for the next order. Vodka tonic. Simple enough, but she had to concentrate to keep the bottle steady. Don't let Colt scare you. Wrench appeared at the bar. His bark's worse than his bite. Really, because I heard he broke a guy's arm in here. That guy deserved it. Wrench's expression was matter-of-fact. Colt's hard but fair. He wouldn't warn you if he didn't think you could handle what's coming. At 9 p.m., the sit-down happened. Bishop and the Vipers' president, a man named Fang with a face like hammered steel, disappeared into the back office with Colt and two other senior members from each club. The bar went quieter, tension ratcheting up with every minute that passed. 15 minutes later, shouting erupted from the office. Not words, just rage and male aggression colliding. The bar went silent. The office door slammed open. Fang came out first, his face purple with fury. "Deal's dead. You want Riverside, you'll have to take it." Bishop followed, his expression carved from granite. "Then that's how it'll be." The Vipers stood as one, 6 men moving toward the exit with synchronized precision. But Fang stopped at the bar, his eyes landing on Claire. "You, bartender. You're new, right? Don't know the history?" "I just pour drinks." "Then pour this into your memory. When this club falls, and it will fall, you remember that Fang gave them a chance for peace. You remember that Bishop chose war." He leaned across the bar, his breath hot on her face. "And when we come back, little girl, neutral ground won't mean shit." Colt moved toward them, but Bishop raised a hand. "Let him talk. Words are just words. For now." Fang straightened. "Words become bullets real fast in our world. You picked the wrong side to work for." "I didn't pick any side. I needed a job." Something flickered in Fang's eyes. Maybe respect, maybe pity. "Then you picked the wrong job. Hope you're that good at running." The Vipers left in a roar of engines and threats. The door closed behind them, and the bar exploded into conversation. Bishop raised his hand, and silence fell immediately. "Brothers, we knew this was a possibility. The Vipers want Riverside, but Riverside is ours. Been ours for 20 years. They think we're old, weak, ready to roll over." His voice carried absolute authority. "Tonight we show them different." He turned to Colt. "Double patrols, eyes on all our businesses. Anyone sees Viper colors, report immediately." "What about civilians?" someone called out. "Staff, family, protected, all of them. The Vipers know the rules. You come for us, you better come correct. You touch civilians, you break the code." Bishop's eyes found Claire. "That includes our new bartender. She's under our protection now." Claire felt every eye in the bar turn toward her. The weight of it was suffocating. "Thank you," she managed. "Don't thank me. Just do your job and stay alert." Bishop looked around the bar. "Now everyone drink up and act normal. We're not scared of threats. We're Iron Brotherhood. We wrote the book on what fear looks like." The crowd erupted in cheers and slammed fists. The energy shifted from tense to defiant. Someone cranked up the jukebox. Someone else called for shots. But Claire saw the truth beneath the bravado. These men were preparing for war, and somehow, impossibly, she was part of it now. The rest of the night passed in a blur of drinks and noise and barely controlled chaos. By 2 a.m., when Bishop finally called last call, Claire's body had moved beyond exhaustion into something else entirely, a state of pure will keeping her upright. Ash counted out her tips, $423. Her share was $211. "You did good tonight," he said, "really good. Most people would have cracked when Fang threatened them." "I've been threatened by scarier men than Fang." "Yeah," Ash looked at her bruised face with new understanding. "Like who? Like a man who knows the law can't touch him, who has lawyers and judges and cops all in his pocket, who knows exactly how much damage he can do without leaving permanent evidence." Claire wiped down the last glass. "Fang's honest about his violence. That makes him less scary than men who pretend to be civilized." Ash stared at her. "Jesus, what happened to you?" "Nothing that matters anymore. I'm here now. This is my life now." Bishop approached as she was hanging up her apron. "Claire, quick word." Here it comes, she thought. The part where he tells her she's fired. Too much trouble. Too much risk. "You handled yourself well tonight. Better than I expected." "Fang threatening you. The whole war talk, the situation with the Vipers. You didn't flinch. Didn't ask questions you shouldn't ask. Didn't panic." "I learned not to panic a long time ago." "I can see that." Bishop pulled out an envelope. "This is a week's advance on your pay. 300. You've earned it, and I figure you need it. There's also a key in there, to your room and to the bar's back entrance. You're permanent staff now. Trial period's over." Claire took the envelope, her hands shaking. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. Things are going to get rough. War with the Vipers means this place becomes a target, means danger walks through that door on the regular. You still want to stay? She thought about Garrett, about his texts, about the way his hands felt around her throat. She thought about sleeping in her car, about having nowhere to go and no one to turn to. I'll stay. Then welcome to the family, such as it is. Bishop headed toward the door, then stopped. One more thing. Colt checked you out today, made some calls, found out your ex-husband is Garrett Blackwell, real estate developer, city council buddy, big donor to law enforcement causes. That true? Claire's blood went cold. Yes. He know where you are? No, I was careful. Being careful and being safe are two different things. If he shows up here, you tell me immediately. We'll handle it, but I need to know you're not keeping secrets that'll bite us later. The only secret is that I'm gone. He thinks I'm weak, thinks I'll come crawling back. He's wrong. Bishop studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. Yeah, I can see that. Get some rest. Tomorrow's Sunday, we're closed. Take the day, explore the area, get your bearings. Monday, we'll talk about schedule and pay structure. After he left, the silence filled the bar like water filling a drowning person's lungs. Claire stood there holding the envelope, barely believing this was real. She had a job, a room, money in her pocket, protection. You really going to stay? Ash asked quietly. Where else would I go? Fair point. He grabbed his jacket. For what it's worth, I think you'll fit in here. You've got that look, like you've been to hell and came back harder. That's because I have. She locked up after he left, testing every door, every window. Then she climbed the stairs to her room, her sanctuary. Inside, she opened the envelope. $300 in bills, a brass key, and a small card with a phone number written in Bishop's handwriting. Trouble comes, call this first. Claire sat on the bed and finally let herself feel it. The fear, the relief, the strange sense of belonging to something bigger than herself. These dangerous men had offered her protection, had made her family. She pulled out her phone, turned it on. 42 new messages from Garrett. She didn't read them. Instead, she typed a single text to his number. Stop looking. I'm not coming back. Move on. Then she powered the phone off completely, pulled the SIM card out, and flushed it down the toilet. That door was closed. That life was over. Whatever came next, she'd face it here, behind the bar at the Devil's Keep, protected by outlaws who understood that sometimes the only way to survive was to burn your old life to ashes and build something new from the smoke. She fell asleep to the sound of motorcycles in the distance, the rumble becoming almost comforting, almost like home. Sunday morning arrived with pounding on Claire's door that jolted her awake. Her body moved into defensive position before her mind caught up. Years of Garrett's sudden rages had trained her to wake ready to fight or flee. Claire, open up. It's Wrench. She cracked the door, keeping the chain on. Wrench stood there with Raven, both looking grim. Get dressed. Bishop wants everyone at the clubhouse in 20 minutes. I thought we were closed Sundays. We are. This isn't about the bar. Wrench's expression was stone. They found Finn. 15 minutes later, Claire stood in the bar surrounded by 30 club members, all wearing their cuts, all radiating barely controlled fury. Bishop stood at the front, Colt beside him. Finn's alive, Bishop said, and relief rippled through the room. Barely. Vipers had him, beat him pretty bad, dumped him at county hospital. He's talking to us, not the cops, which is the only smart thing he's done in 48 hours. What did he tell them? Someone called out. Nothing. Kid took a beating and kept his mouth shut. But here's the problem. Finn had product on him when they grabbed him. 5 kilos of cocaine, to say street value about 200 grand. That's our product, our money, our reputation on the line. The room erupted in angry voices. Colt raised his hand and silence fell. Finn says the Vipers have the product stashed somewhere in their territory. They're planning to sell it, keep the profits, and make us look weak. Make it look like we can't protect our own operations. So we go get it back, Reaper said from the back. Simple. Nothing simple. Bishop's voice cut through the room like a blade. We go in, guns blazing, people die, cops get involved. Feds start looking at our business. We need to be smart about this. While we're being smart, the Vipers are counting our money, someone else shouted. Bishop slammed his fist on the bar. I said we need to be smart, not weak. There's a difference. Colt's putting together a plan. But first we need intel. Need to know where they're keeping the product, how many guards, what their security looks like. I might have something. A voice from the doorway made everyone turn. A woman stood there, late 20s, rail thin, with the hollow eyes of an addict. She wore civilian clothes, but her body language screamed fear. Who the hell is this? Colt demanded. This is Jenna, Wrench said quietly. She's a friend. Works at a diner near Viper territory. She's got information. Jenna stepped forward, her hands shaking. I serve coffee to Vipers all the time. They talk around me like I'm furniture. This morning, 3 of them were bragging about some big score, talking about how they're moving product tonight, using the old warehouse on 5th Street. You sure about this? Bishop's eyes narrowed. I'm sure. They said midnight. Said it's hidden in the warehouse until then. Only 2 guys guarding it because everyone thinks it's empty. Colt moved toward her. Why are you telling us this? Because Fang killed my brother 2 years ago over a debt. Said it was business. Tears streamed down Jenna's face. I've been waiting for a chance to hurt him back. You hit that warehouse, you cost him money and reputation. That's all I want. Bishop and Colt exchanged looks. Some silent communication passed between them. Wrench, take her to the back. Get details. Exact address, layout, anything she knows. Bishop turned to the room. The rest of you, this stays in this room. Nobody talks about this outside these walls. We're going to get our product back, and we're going to send a message. But we do it clean. We do it smart. And we don't leave bodies unless we have to. The meeting broke up into smaller groups. Claire stood behind the bar, unsure if she should leave or stay. You're still here. Raven appeared beside her. Most civilians would have run when they heard 5 kilos of cocaine. I'm not running. No, you're not. Raven studied her. You understand what you've walked into. This isn't just a bar, it's the front for a criminal enterprise. Drugs, guns, stolen goods, all of it moves through here in some way. I understand. And you're staying anyway. I've got nowhere else to go. And honestly, Claire met Raven's eyes. I'd rather work for criminals who protect their own than go back to a respectable man who nearly killed me. Raven's expression softened. I get that more than you know. But there's going to come a moment when you have to choose. Really choose. Stand with this club or save yourself. When that moment comes, you need to know which choice you can live with. Have you had to make that choice? 3 times. Twice I chose the club. Once I chose myself. Raven pulled out her phone. I'm still here, so I guess that says something. Give me your number. You're going to need someone to talk to who understands what it's like being a woman in this world. They exchanged numbers. Claire felt something loosen in her chest. The beginning of friendship, maybe. Or at least alliance. Colt called everyone back together an hour later. Here's the plan. 6 of us go in at 11 p.m. before they move the product. We disable their guards, retrieve what's ours, and leave a message. No killing unless absolutely necessary. We want them scared, not vengeful. Who's going? Reaper asked. Me, Bishop, Wrench, Reaper, Ash, and Joker. Colt's eyes scanned the room. Everyone else stays here, ready to move if things go wrong. We're in and out in 20 minutes. What about the bar? Someone asked. Closed tonight. Claire, you stay upstairs. Door locked, phone ready. If we're not back by 1 a.m., you call this number. Colt handed her a card. It's our lawyer. Tell him code red. He'll know what to do. Wait, Ash's voice cracked. I'm going. I'm just a prospect. You're going because you need to prove yourself. Finn failed. You get a chance to do better. Bishop's tone left no room for argument. This is how you earn your patch. You show up when it matters. The day dragged by in tense preparation. Men cleaned guns, checked equipment, made calls to contacts. Claire stayed behind the bar, wiping down surfaces that didn't need cleaning, trying to stay out of the way. At 4 p.m., Raven pulled her aside. Come on, you need to eat and you need to get out of this building. The testosterone levels are toxic right now. They walked to a diner 3 blocks away. Claire kept checking over her shoulder. Old habits dying hard. He's not going to find you here, Raven said gently. Your ex, Bishop, had Colt do a deep check. Garrett's still in your hometown, still looking, But he's looking in all the wrong places. Checking with your friends, your family places as you used to go. He thinks you're scared and hiding somewhere familiar. How do you know all this? Colt tells me everything. I tell the other old ladies most things. That's how information flows in this world through us. We're the ones who actually know what's happening. Raven ordered coffee for both of them. You need to understand something. These men, they're loyal to death, but they're also violent, dangerous, and sometimes stupid. They're going to do things that scare you, things that make you question if you made the right choice staying. Are you trying to convince me to leave? I'm trying to prepare you, because tonight men might die. Our men or theirs, but either way, there will be consequences. Blood demands blood in this world. You need to be ready for what that means. I'm ready. You say that now. Wait until you see Colt come back covered in someone else's blood. Wait until the cops show up asking questions. Wait until you realize that every person you care about here could disappear into prison or a grave at any moment. Raven's eyes held old pain. I've buried 3 friends from this club. I've watched Colt get arrested twice. I've sat in hospital waiting rooms wondering if this was the night everything fell apart. And I stay because I love him. Because this is my family. But it costs. It always costs. What does Colt think about you staying? He begs me to leave every time things get dangerous. Says I deserve better, safer. But I'm stubborn. And I understand something he doesn't. Sometimes the dangerous choice is still the right choice. Sometimes broken people need broken places to heal. They ate in silence for a while. Claire felt the weight of what was coming, pressing down on her chest. Can I ask you something? Claire said finally. When you had to choose between the club and yourself, how did you know which way to go? I asked myself one question. Will I regret staying more than I'll regret leaving? Raven reached across the table and squeezed Claire's hand. The answer told me everything. You'll know when your moment comes. Trust yourself. You've survived worse than anything this club can throw at you. They returned to the bar at 6 p.m. The energy had shifted. Focused now, purposeful. The men going on the run were gearing up, checking weapons, reviewing the plan. In low voices, Raven pulled Claire upstairs. I'm staying with you tonight. Safety in numbers. You don't have to. I'm not asking. Colt would kill me if I let you stay alone. Raven settled onto the small couch. Besides, waiting alone is torture. Waiting together is marginally better. At 10 p.m., the 6 men gathered by the door. They wore all black, no cuts, no identifying marks. They looked like soldiers preparing for war. Colt kissed Raven hard. If things go wrong, they won't. You're too mean to die. But her voice shook. Bishop caught Claire's eye. Remember, not back by one call the lawyer. I remember. They left in 2 vehicles, lights off engines, quiet as predators. The bar felt like a tomb after they were gone. Upstairs, Raven poured 2 glasses of whiskey. Now we wait, and we don't think about all the things that could go wrong. How do you do this, the waiting? Practice, lots and lots of practice. And alcohol. Raven downed her glass. First time Colt went on a run like this, I threw up 3 times from anxiety. Now I just drink and pretend I'm not terrified. How long have you been together? 8 years. Met him when I was running from my ex-husband. Sound familiar? Raven smiled without humor. Ex found me at a gas station. Started beating me in the parking lot. Colt happened to be there. Put my ex in the hospital for 3 months. Broken jaw, broken ribs, broken everything. I knew right then I'd found someone who understood that some violence is righteous. Did your ex come back? Tried to. Filed assault charges against Colt. But funny thing, all the witnesses suddenly couldn't remember what happened. Security footage mysteriously disappeared. Case fell apart. My ex got the message. Moved to another state. Never heard from him again. Raven poured another glass. That's what protection looks like in this world. It's not gentle or legal or civilized, but it works. At 11 p.m., Claire's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, in position. That's good, Raven said. Means they made it to the warehouse. Now comes the hard part. 11:15, nothing. 11:30, still nothing. 11:45. Claire was pacing her mind, creating disasters. Cops, ambush, gunfire, bodies. At midnight, her phone exploded with texts. Package secure, heading back. Minor complications. What's minor complications? Claire demanded. Could mean anything from someone got punched to someone got shot. Raven's face was tight. We'll know when they get back. 12:30, the sound of engines in the parking lot. Claire and Raven rushed downstairs. The 6 men came through the door. Ash was bleeding from his nose. Reaper had a cut above his eye. But they were all walking, all breathing, all alive. And they carried 2 large duffel bags. Product secured, Bishop announced. Vipers had 4 guards, not 2. Things got messy. How messy? Raven moved to Colt, checking him for injuries. Nobody died, but 3 of their guys are going to wake up with serious headaches and some missing teeth. Colt's knuckles were split and bleeding. We left a message, written on the warehouse wall in spray paint. This is what happens when you touch what's ours. They're going to retaliate, Wrench said. He had a bruise forming on his cheek. This isn't over. I know, but we bought time and we got our product back. Bishop turned to Ash. You did good tonight, Prospect. Took a punch meant for Reaper, kept your head. You're 1 step closer to earning your patch. Ash straightened despite the blood streaming from his nose. Thank you, sir. Colt looked at Claire. You were supposed to stay upstairs. I heard engines. I wanted to make sure everyone was okay. Everyone's okay. Now go back upstairs and forget everything you saw here tonight. Saw what I was asleep. Colt's expression might have been approval. You did good too. Following orders, keeping quiet, not panicking. Most civilians can't handle this life. You're proving you can. It wasn't much, but coming from Colt, it felt like a medal. Upstairs, Raven started laughing. Minor complications. God, I'm going to kill him. 4 guards instead of 2 is not minor. But everyone's alive. This time, next time might be different. Raven's laughter died. You need to understand what you saw tonight. That's Tuesday for this club. They steal, they fight, they take what they believe is theirs. And sometimes people get hurt. Sometimes people die. Can you live with that? Claire thought about Garrett, about his respectable job and his respectable friends and his hand around her throat. She thought about police reports that disappeared and judges who looked the other way. These men own their violence. They don't pretend to be civilized while doing monster things. That makes them more honest than most of the good men I've known. That's one way to look at it. Raven stood. I should get back to Colt. Make sure he's really okay. You gonna be all right alone? I've been alone for a long time. I'll be fine. After Raven left, Claire sat on her bed and processed the night. She'd just become an accessory to theft, to assault, probably a dozen other crimes. She should be scared, should be planning her escape. Instead, she felt safer than she had in years. Monday morning arrived with bright sunshine that felt wrong, given the violence of the previous night. Claire came downstairs at 10 a.m. to find Bishop Colt and several others in deep conversation. Cops came by Finn's hospital room last night, Bishop was saying, asking questions about his injuries. He told them he got jumped. Doesn't know who did it, but they're not buying it. They never buy it, Colt said, but they can't prove anything without evidence or testimony. Long as Finn keeps quiet and the Vipers don't file reports, we're good. The Vipers won't file reports. They can't admit they got robbed without looking weak. Bishop noticed Claire. You sleep okay? Well enough. You need me to open the bar. Not yet. We're staying closed today. Too much heat. But I need to talk to you about something. He gestured to his office. Inside, Bishop shut the door and leaned against his desk. Colt did more digging into your background. Found out some interesting things about your husband. Claire's stomach dropped. Like what? Like he's escalating. Hired a private investigator last week. PI's been tracking your credit cards, your phone records, talking to anyone who might know where you are. He's offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to finding you. 10,000? The number staggered her. He's that desperate. Men like him don't like losing, especially don't like losing to their wives. Makes them look weak in front of their peers. Bishop pulled out a folder. PYI's name is Holden Drake. Former cop, works mostly divorce cases. He's good at what he does. Eventually, he's going to trace you here. How long do I have? Hard to say. Weeks, maybe months if we're lucky, but he will find you. Question is, what do we do when he does? We. Claire's voice was small. This isn't your problem. You work for me. You're under my protection. That makes it my problem. Bishop opened the folder showing her photos. Her car, the places she'd stopped during her 3 weeks on the run, the motel she'd stayed at 2 towns over. Drake's been tracking your trail. He's behind, but he's getting closer. Then I'll leave. I won't bring this trouble to your door. And go where you got money resources. Another place to hide. Bishop shook his head. You leave, you're alone. Stay, and you've got 30 brothers who don't like it when some rich bastard thinks he can push us around. You'd go to war over me. You don't even know me. I know enough. I know you took a beating and kept standing. I know you walked into this bar scared but didn't show it. I know you've kept your mouth shut about things you could report to cops. That's enough for me. He closed the folder. But I need to know something. When your husband shows up, and he will show up, what do you want to happen? I don't understand. I mean, do you want us to scare him off, hurt him, make him disappear? Bishop's eyes were flat and serious. We can do any of those things, but you need to decide which one you can live with. The question hung in the air like smoke. Claire thought about Garrett's hands, his voice, the way he convinced her that she deserved everything he did to her. She thought about the woman she'd been, weak, scared, convinced she had no options. That woman was dead. I want him scared. I want him to know that if he ever comes near me again, there will be consequences he can't buy his way out of. But I don't want him dead. I don't want that on my conscience. Fair enough. When the time comes, we'll make sure he understands. Bishop stood. For now, keep your head down. Don't contact anyone from your old life. Don't use your real name anywhere outside this bar. And start thinking about what name you want to use when you need new ID. New ID. Claire Dawson is going to disappear. You'll need a new identity, new social security number, new everything. I've got a guy who can make it happen. Costs $5,000, but it's worth it. You'll be untraceable. I don't have $5,000. You'll work it off. Consider it an advance on your salary. He opened the door. Welcome to your new life. Hope it's better than your old one. The rest of Monday passed in strange normalcy. Claire cleaned the bar, took inventory, learned the routines. Members came and went, their presence constant but not oppressive. She was beginning to learn names, faces, stories. Wrench taught her how to properly pour a Guinness, the art of the cascade. Reaper showed her the good hiding spots behind the bar. Places to keep extra cash, weapons, emergency supplies. Ash walked her through the security system, the cameras, the panic buttons, the safe words. It felt like being initiated into a secret society, which she realized was exactly what was happening. Tuesday, the bar reopened. The crowd was smaller than the weekend, but steady. Men came in after work looking for beer and Brotherhood. Claire served them with growing confidence. A woman came in around 7 p.m., younger than Claire, maybe mid-20s, with bruises she was trying to hide with the makeup. I need to talk to Bishop, she said quietly. He's in back. What's your name? Just tell him Melissa is here. He'll know. Bishop came out 5 minutes later, his expression grim. He took Melissa to a corner table. Their conversation was too quiet to hear, but Claire saw Melissa crying, saw Bishop's face harden with each word. 20 minutes later, 3 members left with Melissa. They looked like soldiers heading to war. What's that about? Claire asked Ash. Melissa's little sister is dating a guy who beats her. Sister won't leave, won't press charges. Classic situation. Melissa comes to us when it gets bad. We go have a conversation with the boyfriend. Usually one conversation is enough. And if it's not, then we have a different kind of conversation. Ash's voice was matter of fact. Some people only understand violence. We speak their language. At 9 p.m., the 3 members returned. One had bloodied knuckles. All 3 looked satisfied. Bishop approached the bar. Melissa's sister is safe. Boyfriend's at the ER getting his jaw wired shut. He won't be bothering her anymore. You broke his jaw. We explained that touching women who can't defend themselves is unacceptable. He didn't want to listen. His jaw helped make the point clearer. Bishop took the beer Claire offered. You got a problem with that? No, I just wish someone had done that for me 4 years ago. Someone's doing it now. Better late than never. Wednesday brought the private investigator. Claire was wiping down tables at 2 p.m. when a man in an expensive suit walked in. He had cop written all over him, the way he moved, the way his eyes scanned the room, the confidence set to his shoulders. "We're not open yet," Claire said. "I'm not here for a drink. I'm looking for someone." He pulled out a photo. "You seen this woman? It was her." A photo from her wedding day, smiling, looking happy and naive and stupid. Claire's heart hammered, but her face stayed neutral. "Nope, haven't seen her." "Who is she?" "Missing person. Her husband's worried sick. She left 3 weeks ago. No note, no explanation. He just wants to know she's safe." The man's voice was smooth, practiced. "There's a reward for information. $10,000. All you have to do is tell me if you've seen her. Like I said, haven't seen her. Maybe try the police. Police can't help with missing adults who leave voluntarily. But if you do see her, give me a call." He handed her a business card. "Holden Drake Private Investigations." "Sure thing." Drake looked around the bar, his eyes lingering on the Iron Brotherhood memorabilia, the photos of members, the general atmosphere of danger. "Interesting place to work. You've been here long." "Few days." "You like it?" "It pays the bills." "I bet it does. Place like this, lots of cash moving around. Lots of people who don't want their names in official records. Good place to disappear if someone was looking to hide." "Wouldn't know. I just serve drinks." Drake smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Of course. Well, you have my card. You see anything, hear anything, you call me. $10,000 buys a lot of new starts." He left. Claire waited 30 seconds, then grabbed her phone. Bishop answered on the first ring. "The Pia, I was just here." 5 minutes later, the bar was full of members. Bishop stood at the center, Drake's business card in his hand. He knows she's here. Maybe not for certain, but he knows. This is the closest place to where her car was last spotted, and exactly the kind of place someone running would hide. Bishop looked at Claire. He's going to keep coming back, asking questions, watching. Eventually, he's going to ID you and recognize you. Then what? "Then I'll leave tonight." "No." Colt's voice cut through the room. "We don't run from private investigators. We deal with them." "What does that mean?" "Means we make it clear that coming here asking questions, bothering our people, that's bad for his health." Colt pulled out his phone. "I've got contacts. I'll find out everything about Holden Drake. Where he lives, who he loves, what he's afraid of. Then we pay him a visit." "You're going to threaten him." "I'm going to educate him. There's a difference." Claire felt the weight of what she'd brought to their door. "I'm sorry, I never meant—" "Stop." Bishop's voice was firm. "You didn't bring this here. Your ex-husband did by not letting go. Drake's just doing his job, but his job ends where our territory begins. We'll handle it." "What if he goes to the cops, tells them you threatened him? Then the cops come, we tell them we don't know anything, and life goes on. We've dealt with worse." Bishop squeezed her shoulder. "You're one of us now. We protect our own. Always." That night, after closing, Colt and 4 others left on their motorcycles. They were gone for 3 hours. When they returned, Colt's face was expressionless. "Drake's been educated. He won't be back." "What did you do?" "Had a conversation. Explained that some cases aren't worth the money. Suggested he tell his client that the trail went cold. That the woman probably left the state. He was very understanding once we showed him photos of his daughter's school, his wife's workplace, his mother's nursing home." Colt's voice was flat. Funny how understanding people get when they realize they're not the only ones who can find information. Claire should have been horrified, should have been disgusted by the threat to an innocent man's family. Instead, she felt protected, safe, like she finally had people on her side who understood that sometimes you had to fight fire with fire. "Thank you. Don't thank us. Just keep being worth protecting." Colt headed for the door, then stopped. "Your ex finds another way to track you, we'll handle that too. However many times it takes, we'll handle it. That's what family does." After everyone left, Claire stood in the empty bar and let herself feel it. The strange, complicated gratitude. These dangerous men had done more for her in 2 weeks than any law-abiding citizen had done in 4 years of abuse. The world wasn't black and white. It wasn't good guys and bad guys. It was complicated people making complicated choices in a system that often failed the ones who needed it most. And she'd found her place in that complicated world, behind a bar in the heart of outlaw territory, protected by men who lived outside the law, but somehow understood justice better than most. Her phone buzzed. A text from Raven. Heard what happened. You okay, Claire typed back. Better than okay, I'm home. And for the first time in years, she pinned her head. 3 weeks passed in a rhythm Claire had never expected to find comforting. Pour drinks, listen to stories, watch violence bloom and fade like thunderstorms, sleep in her small room above the bar, protected by men who killed without hesitation but never raised their voice to her. She was counting the register on a Thursday night when Finn walked in. He looked different from the terrified prospect who'd been beaten by the Vipers. His face had healed into hard lines. His eyes had lost their innocence. Claire, he approached the bar slowly. I never thanked you. For what? For not running, for staying quiet when the cops came asking questions. Ash told me you could have sold us all out, gotten yourself clear of this mess, but you didn't. Where would I go? This is the only place that's felt safe in years. Finn nodded understanding in a way only broken people could. I'm patched now, full member. Bishop said I earned it by keeping my mouth shut when the Vipers had me, but I think the real test was after. Watching who stayed when things got dangerous. Congratulations. Yeah, thanks. He hesitated. Look, I know you didn't sign up for the heavy stuff, but things are about to get heavier. The Vipers, they're not letting the warehouse thing go. Word is they're planning something big. Retaliation. How big? Don't know yet, but Colt's got everyone on alert. I just wanted you to know, in case you want to take a few days off, go somewhere safe until it blows over. Claire thought about running again, about sleeping in her car, looking over her shoulder, being alone. I said, no. I'll stay. You're either crazy or you've got more guts than sense. Maybe both. She poured him a beer. This one's on the house for surviving. We're all just surviving. Finn took the beer and headed to join a group of members in the back. That night after closing, Bishop called her into his office. Finn talked to you. He warned me about the Vipers. Good, because I need to know something. Bishop leaned forward, his eyes serious. If violence comes through that door, what are you going to do? What do you mean, are you going to free scream run, or are you going to keep your head and do what needs doing? I don't know. I've never been in that situation. Yes, you have. Every time your husband came at you, you were in that situation. You survived. Question is, can you survive it here with higher stakes and more players? Claire met his gaze. I can survive anything. That's the one thing I've learned about myself. Good, because tomorrow night we're expecting trouble. The Vipers have been quiet too long. Intel says they're planning to hit us here. At the bar, they want to make a statement. Show they're not afraid. When? Best guess tomorrow night. Probably late when the crowd's thick and everyone's drinking. Maximum chaos, maximum impact. Bishop pulled out a handgun. You know how to use one of these? No. Then you're learning. Come on. He took her to the basement, into a space she didn't know existed. Down there, the walls were concrete, the air was cold, and the gun safe in the corner held enough weapons to start a small war. This is a Glock 19. Simple, reliable, hard to mess up. Bishop showed her how to load it, how to hold it, how to aim. You're not going to have time to practice, so we're keeping this simple. Safety off. Point at what you want to stop. Pull the trigger until it stops moving. I can't kill someone. You won't have to. That's our job. But if someone comes behind this bar with bad intentions, you need to be able to protect yourself long enough for us to handle it. Understand, Claire took the gun. It felt heavy, foreign, deadly. I understand. Good. This stays under the bar tomorrow night. You don't pull it unless your life depends on it. But if you need it, you use it. No hesitation. Hesitation gets you killed. They practiced for an hour. By the end, Claire could load, aim, and fire with something approaching competence. Not good, but good enough. Upstairs, Raven was waiting. Colt told me, "You doing okay?" I just learned how to shoot someone. I'm not sure okay applies anymore. Welcome to the family. Raven poured them both whiskey. First time I held a gun, I threw up. But you get used to it. The weight, the responsibility, the knowledge that you could end someone's life with a squeeze of your finger. Do you carry one? Always. Raven pulled back her jacket, revealing a small pistol in a holster. Learned early that being Colt's old lady makes me a target. I had to choose, be a victim or be dangerous. I chose dangerous. How do you live like this, constantly on alert, constantly ready for violence? You trade one kind of fear for another. Before Colt, I was afraid of my ex, afraid of being alone, afraid of not being enough. Now I'm afraid of losing Colt, afraid of the club falling apart, afraid of cops or rivals. Raven raised her glass. But here's the difference. This fear I have control over. I can prepare. I can fight back. The old fear just ate me alive. That makes sense, in a twisted way. This whole life is twisted, but it's ours. Raven clinked her glass against Claire's. To surviving, however we have to. They drank and Claire felt the burn, wondered if she had ever tasted anything that didn't carry the flavor of Orleans. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Against her better judgment, she answered. Hello, Claire. Garrett's voice hit her like a physical blow. I know where you are. Claire's blood went cold. Her hand tightened around the phone until her knuckles went white. Did you really think you could hide from me? Garrett's voice was silk over steel. I've been tracking you for weeks. Found your car, traced your route, narrowed it down, and now I know exactly where you're hiding. Stay away from me. Or what? You'll have your biker friends protect you. He laughed, the sound sharp and cruel. They're criminals, Claire. One phone call to the right people, and they'll all be in prison. Then it'll be just you and me again, like it should be. I'm not coming back. Yes, you are. You belong to me. You're my wife, and I'm coming to get you. His voice dropped to the cold tone she remembered too well. Saturday, be ready, because whether you come willingly or I have to drag you out of that disgusting bar, you're coming home. The line went dead. Claire stood there, phone in hand, feeling the familiar fear try to reclaim her. But something was different now. She wasn't alone. She wasn't weak. She was part of something bigger. She called Bishop. He knows where I am. He's coming Saturday. Bishop arrived at her door within 5 minutes, Colt right behind him. Neither looked surprised. We knew this was coming, Bishop said. Just didn't know when. Tell me exactly what he said. Claire repeated the conversation, her voice steadier than she felt. He said he's coming Saturday. Said he'd drag me out of here if he had to. Let him try. Colt's voice was ice. But we've got a problem. The Vipers are planning to hit us Friday night. We can't fight two wars at once. No, Claire surprised herself with the firmness of her own voice. I need to face him, not hide behind you. If I don't do this myself, I'll never be free of him. You want to face him alone? Bishop's eyebrows rose. That's suicide. Not alone. Just I need to be the one who stands up to him, who tells him it's over, who makes him understand I'm not his anymore. She looked between them. But I need you there, as backup, as witnesses, as proof that I'm not the woman he thinks I am. Colt and Bishop exchanged glances. Some silent communication passed between them. All right, Bishop said finally. But we do this smart. Handle the Vipers Friday. Deal with your ex Saturday. 2 separate fights. Controlled environment both times. Our territory, our rules. They spent the next hour planning, where everyone would stand, what she would say, how far they'd let things go before stepping in. It felt like preparing for war, which Claire supposed it was. Friday arrived with tension thick enough to cut. The bar opened at 5 p.m., but this wasn't a normal night. Members arrived early, heavily armed, faces grim. Vipers are coming, Colt announced at the pre-shift meeting. Intel says between 9 and 11 p.m., 15 to 20 bikes. They're making a statement. What's the plan? Wrench asked. We fortified, boarded the weak windows, set up defensive positions. When they come, we hold the line, protect the bar, protect each other. Bishop's voice carried weight. Claire, you stay behind the bar with the Glock. Raven and the other old ladies are armed and ready. This is family defending home. The hours crawled by. Claire poured drinks with shaking hands, her eyes constantly flicking to the door. The Glock sat heavy under the bar, a reminder of what was coming. At 9:30 p.m., the sound came. Engines, lots of them. The bar went silent. Through the windows, Claire could see them. 15 motorcycles circling like sharks. Men in viper cuts, faces hidden behind bandanas, weapons visible. Positions, Bishop said quietly. Members moved like a well-oiled machine. Wrench and Reaper at the door. Colt and Joker at the windows. ash covering the back entrance. Everyone else spread throughout the bar ready. The lead Viper Fang kicked open the door. "You got something that belongs to us," he shouted, "and we're here to collect, with interest." "You got nothing coming," Bishop said, standing in the center of the bar. "You stole from us. We took it back. That's the end of it." "That's where you're wrong, old man. This is just the beginning." Fang raised his hand. The windows exploded inward. Glass everywhere. A Molotov cocktail sailed through landing near the pool table. Flames erupted. "Now," Bishop roared. The Brotherhood opened fire. Not to kill, to drive them back. Bullets slammed into the doorframe, the walls, the bikes outside. The Vipers returned fire. The bar became a war zone. Claire dropped behind the bar, her heart hammering. She could hear shouting, gunshots, the crash of breaking furniture. A Viper burst through the back door. Ash tackled him, the two men crashing into tables. Another came through a side window. Wrench intercepted him with a tire iron, the sound of metal on bones sickeningly loud. Then one got past the defenses, headed straight for the bar, straight for Claire. Young, wild eyes, gun raised. Claire didn't think, didn't hesitate. She brought up the Glock, aimed center mass, pulled the trigger. The recoil surprised her, the sound was deafening. The Viper went down, clutching his thigh. Non-lethal, but he was down. Colt was there in seconds, zip-tying the wounded man. "Good shot," he said. "Clean, controlled. You did good." The fight lasted 20 minutes that felt like hours. When it was over, 3 Vipers lay, wounded but alive. The rest had retreated, their bikes roaring off into the night. Wrench had taken a bullet to the shoulder. Minor, but he'd need stitches. Ash had a broken nose. Several members had cuts from flying glass, but they'd held the line. "Sirens," someone called out. "Clean it up," Bishop ordered. "Weapons stashed. Wounded members claim bar fight. Vipers we caught claim attempted robbery. Story is tight. Move." By the time the cops arrived 10 minutes later, the scene looked completely different. The Molotov fire was out. Glass swept, guns hidden. Members sitting around nursing beers like nothing had happened. The wounded Vipers had been dragged outside, dumped 2 blocks away for their own people to find. The cops didn't buy it, but they couldn't prove it. They left with warnings about keeping the peace that everyone knew were meaningless. After they were gone, the bar erupted, not in celebration, but in grim satisfaction. "We held," Bishop said. "They came at us hard. We held. That's a win." He looked at Claire. "You shot a man tonight." "I know." "You okay?" Claire thought about it. She just shot someone. Should feel guilt, horror, something. Instead, she felt numb and maybe a little proud. "I'm okay. He was coming for me. I stopped him. That's all that matters." Bishop squeezed her shoulder. "You're really one of us now. Baptism by fire." Raven appeared with fresh whiskey, to surviving, to family, to holding the line. They drank, and Claire realized something. This place, these people, they'd become hers. And she'd proven tonight that she'd fight for them just as hard as they fought for her. The bar closed early, everyone too keyed up and exhausted to continue. Claire helped clean up sweeping glass writing tables. "Tomorrow's going to be different," Colt said as he checked the boarded windows. "Your ex doesn't know we just fought off the Vipers. He's walking into a club that's battle-tested and pissed off. That works in our favor. You think he'll still come?" "Men like him don't back down, especially not in front of their security." Colt met her eyes. "Be ready. This ends tomorrow." That night, Claire couldn't sleep. She lay in bed replaying the moment she pulled the trigger. The weight of the Glock. The kick. The Viper going down. She'd crossed a line tonight. Became someone who could use violence to protect herself and others. There was no going back from that. But strangely, she didn't want to go back. Saturday arrived with deceptive calm. The bar stayed closed, but members filled it anyway. Waiting, watching, ready. Bishop had made it clear this was Claire's fight. They were there as witnesses and backup, but she needed to be the one to stand up to Garrett. At noon, Claire stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Her bruises had faded. Her eyes looked different, harder, determined. She wasn't the woman who'd walked in here 6 weeks ago. That woman was dead, and good riddance. Raven knocked, entered. "You ready?" "As I'll ever be." "Remember what we talked about. Don't let him get in your head. Don't let him twist your words. Stay strong, and if you need us, we're right there. I know. By 2 p.m., the bar was arranged like a courtroom. Bishop and Colt at the center table, Wrench and Reaper flanking the door despite Wrench's bandaged shoulder. Raven and the older ladies at the back armed and ready, Claire behind the bar, her domain, her territory. At 2:15, a Range Rover pulled into the parking lot. Expensive, black, polished to perfection. Everything about it screamed money and power. Garrett Blackwell stepped out, tall, handsome in that politician way, wearing a suit that probably cost $5,000. His hair was perfect. His smile was perfect. Everything about him was a lie. Two men got out with him. Private security, big, professional. The kind of muscle money could buy. He brought backup, Colt observed. Thinks he's walking into a negotiation. He's walking into a reckoning, Bishop said quietly. Everyone stay calm. Let this play out. But if his boys reach for weapons, we end them. Clear. The room murmured agreement. Garrett walked to the door like he owned the world. His security flanked him. He pushed the door open and stopped. And 30 bikers, all wearing cuts, many with visible injuries from last night's fight, all staring at him with expressions that promised violence. For just a moment, real fear flashed across Garrett's face. Then the mask came back. Samantha. His voice was exactly as Claire remembered. Smooth, controlled, layered with unspoken threats. There you are. I've been so worried. Claire stood behind the bar, her hands flat on the wood. The Glock sat inches from her right hand, loaded and ready. Hello, Garrett. Is that all you have to say, after disappearing for over a month, after making me think something terrible had happened to you? He moved closer, his security trying to keep up, but bikers shifted to block their path. I think you owe me an explanation. I don't owe you anything. His smile tightened. Samantha, let's not do this here. Come outside. We'll talk privately. Work this out like adults. No, you. Excuse me. I said no. Claire's voice grew stronger with each word. We're not going outside. We're not talking privately. We're not working anything out. I'm not coming back to you. Not now, not ever. Not in this lifetime or any other. His expression flickered. Anger breaking through the civilized veneer. You're my wife. I was your victim. There's a difference. Victim. He laughed, the sound sharp and false. Is that what you're telling people? That I abused you? Everyone knows you're unstable, Samantha. The therapist I hired for you documented your emotional problems, your paranoia, your delusions. If you try to claim abuse, I have medical records that say otherwise. Records you paid for from a therapist you chose, who you probably told exactly what to write. Claire pulled out her phone, opened the photos. But I have something better. Evidence. Real evidence. She turned the phone around, showed him the first photo, her face purple and swollen. Black eye, split lip. I documented every bruise, every black eye, every split lip, every broken rib. She swiped through the photos, each one more damning than the last. Every time you told me it was my fault, I took pictures. Every time you promised it would never happen again, I believed you, and then I photographed the next beating. Garrett's face went pale. You're bluffing. You'd never want to see. Claire's voice was ice. I've got 4 years' worth, dozens of photos, dates, timestamps. Some even have audio recordings of you threatening me. You were so confident I'd never fight back that you didn't even try to hide it. She set the phone down. So here's what's going to happen, Garrett. You're going to leave. You're going to file for divorce. Irreconcilable differences. Clean split. You keep your money, your house, your reputation. I keep my freedom and my life, and these photos stay private. And if I refuse, then every photo goes public. Every news outlet in California, every social media platform. I send them to your business partners, your political connections, your country club buddies, your mother. Claire leaned forward. And then I file a police report right here in this jurisdiction, where you don't own the cops, where your donations mean nothing, where judges don't owe you favors. She gestured to the room full of bikers. And these 30 witnesses will testify that you showed up here tried to force me to leave, refused to accept my clear statement that our marriage is over. That's harassment, stalking, and with the photo evidence of prior abuse, it's a felony in California. They're criminals, Garrett spat. Their testimony means nothing. Maybe, but their protection means everything. Claire came around the bar, standing in the open now, no longer hiding, no longer afraid. Here's the truth you can't accept, Garrett. I'm not yours anymore. I'm not your wife. I'm not your property. I'm not your victim. I'm, yeah. You think you can just walk away after everything I've done for you? Everything you've done to me, you mean? Claire's voice was quiet but deadly. You beat me. You terrorized me. You convinced me I was worthless. You made me believe I deserved the pain. But you know what, you were wrong. I didn't deserve it. No one deserves it. Garrett's jaw worked. She could see him calculating, weighing options, looking for the leverage he'd always had. This isn't you, Samantha. This hard, aggressive woman. That's not who you are. You're gentle, sweet. You need someone to take care of you. I needed someone who wouldn't hurt me. You couldn't do that one simple thing. Her voice softened, but not with weakness, with finality. I loved you once, believed in you, thought we'd have a life together, build a family, grow old, all the promises you made. She took a step toward him. But you killed that woman, the one who loved you, who trusted you, who believed your lies. She's dead. You killed her with your fists, with your words, with your control. And I'm glad she's dead, because she was weak. She was a victim. She let you destroy her. Another step. I'm not her anymore. My name is Claire, Claire Rivers, and Claire doesn't belong to anyone. Garrett's mask finally cracked completely. Rage twisted his features into something ugly. The real man beneath the polish showing through. You think these criminals will protect you forever? His voice rose, spittle flying. You think you can hide here indefinitely? I will destroy you. I will take everything. I will make sure you end up with nothing. I have resources you can't even imagine. I have connections, power, money. He stepped toward her hand, reaching out. Colt moved like lightning, one moment standing 10 feet away. The next, his hand clamped on Garrett's wrist, stopping him cold. Don't, Colt said quietly. Don't touch her. Garrett's security finally reacted, hands moving toward their jackets. Instantly, 20 bikers stood, weapons visible. The click of safeties being released filled the air like a death rattle. Your boys pull those guns, Bishop said conversationally. Mine pull triggers. You're outnumbered 20-2. Your security knows it. Look at their faces. Garrett looked. His security was sweating, eyes darting, calculating odds they clearly didn't like. The older of the two leaned close to Garrett. Mr. Blackwell, we're not dying for your marriage. We're leaving. Now. You work for me. Garrett's control was slipping. I pay you to provide security, not to commit suicide. The guard stepped back. This is over. We're done. He and his partner walked out, leaving Garrett alone, surrounded, outnumbered, outplayed. For the first time in his life, his money and connections meant nothing. He had no leverage, no power, no control. He was just a man, and not even a particularly good one. This isn't over, he tried weakly. Yes, it is. Claire pulled the envelope from her pocket, the one she'd prepared with Bishop's help. Divorce papers, already filled out, already notarized. Sign them and mail them back within 7 days. Or everything I have goes public. Your choice. You're making a mistake. When this all falls apart, when you're alone again, when you realize what you've thrown away. I'm not throwing anything away, Claire's voice was steel. I'm reclaiming my life. There's a difference. She walked past him to the door, opened it. The sunlight streamed in, bright and warm and full of possibility. Goodbye, Garrett. I'd say it was nice knowing you, but we both know that would be a lie. She gestured to the parking lot. Your Range Rover is waiting. I suggest you get in it and drive, far away, and never come back. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is staying as long as I did. For a long moment, Garrett just stood there, the fight draining out of him, the realization settling in that he'd truly finally lost. He snatched the envelope from her hand, his fingers shaking, not with fear, with impotent rage. You were nothing when I met you. You'll be nothing without me. Claire smiled, actually smiled. Funny, I feel like I'm finally becoming something, and it's everything you never wanted me to be. What's that? Free. Garrett walked to the door, stopped at the threshold, turned back one last time. When your criminal friends end up in prison, when you're alone with nothing, don't come crawling back. I won't be there. Good, Claire said simply. That's the whole point. He left. The Range Rover's engine started, sounded expensive and foreign and out of place among the motorcycles. Then it was gone, driving away, disappearing down the street, taking with it 4 years of pain, of fear, of believing she was worthless. The bar stayed silent for a long moment, everyone watching Claire, waiting to see how she'd react. She stood at the door watching until the Range Rover disappeared completely. Her hands weren't shaking. Her breath was steady. She felt light, like a weight she'd been carrying so long she'd forgotten it was there had suddenly lifted. Then someone started clapping. Slow, deliberate, Bishop. Others joined, then more. Soon the entire room was applauding, shouting, celebrating, but Claire barely heard it. She was crying, not from sadness, but from relief so profound it felt like being born again. Raven appeared at her side, pulled her into a fierce hug. You did it. You actually fucking did it. I couldn't have without all of you. Maybe. But you were the one who stood up to him. You were the one who found your voice. You were the one who said enough. Raven pulled back, wiping her own eyes. I'm so goddamn proud of you. Bishop handed her a shot of whiskey, the good stuff, not the well liquor. To Claire, he said, voice carrying across the room, who proved that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stand your ground and say no more. To Claire, the room echoed. She drank, the burn feeling like absolution, like cleansing, like the old life burning away and the new one rising from the ashes. The emotion hit her all at once then. She'd done it. She'd faced her abuser, stood up to him, reclaimed her power, her identity, her life. 4 years of marriage that felt like 40. 3 weeks on the run, 6 weeks behind this bar. Learning, growing, becoming, and now freedom. Bishop pulled her aside as the celebration continued. You know what you did just now. Ended my marriage. More than that. You showed everyone in this room, showed yourself that you're not a victim anymore. You're a survivor. And there's a big fucking difference. He squeezed her shoulder. Proud of you, Claire. Really proud. Coming from Bishop, that meant everything. The next week passed in a blur of normalcy that felt surreal. Garrett didn't return. The divorce papers came back signed. No argument, no delay, just his signature and a court date. He'd chosen his reputation over his need for control, exactly as Claire had known he would. The ID guy came through. Claire Dawson officially became Claire Rivers. New social security number. New identity. New life. The paperwork said she was 28, born in Nevada, no criminal record, no past. She could finally disappear. The bar thrived. Word spread about what had happened. The bartender who'd stood up to her abuser, who'd faced him down surrounded by outlaws, who'd won. Women started coming to the bar specifically to meet her, to ask questions, to share their own stories. And Claire listened, really listened, because she'd been there. She knew. 2 weeks after Garrett left, Bishop approached her during a quiet afternoon. Got something to ask you. What's up? Club's opening a second bar, different part of the city, place called the Phoenix. He leaned against the bar. Needs someone to run it. Someone we trust. Someone who knows the business. Someone who can handle herself. Claire's heart skipped. You want me to run it? Not just run it, own it. Well, the club owns it technically, but it's yours to manage. Your vision, your rules, your place. Bishop pulled out a folder. More money, more responsibility. And here's the thing. We want it to be a safe place for women like you. Women running, women hiding, women rebuilding. He opened the folder showing her preliminary plans. Bar downstairs, rooms upstairs, not fancy but clean, safe, protected. Women can work, earn money, get back on their feet, and they're under Brotherhood protection the whole time. Claire's hands trembled as she looked at the plans. You're serious. Dead serious. You started something here, Claire. Whether you meant to or not, women are talking about the bartender at Devil's Keep who survived, who fought back, who won, and they're asking if there's a place for them too. I don't know if I can. You can. You proved that when you stared down your ex, when you shot a viper to protect yourself, when you stood your ground every single time it mattered. Bishop's voice was firm. Most people who come to us running stay victims. You became a survivor, then family. Now you're ready to be a leader, to help others do what you did. Claire thought about it. Her own bar, her own mission, helping women who were exactly where she'd been 6 weeks ago. Scared, broken, convinced they had nowhere to go. I'll do it, she said, on one condition. What's that? We make it known quietly that women running from abuse can find safety there. Not advertised, not official, just word of mouth. A place where they can work, start over, rebuild. No questions asked, no judgment, just help. Bishop smiled, rare and genuine. Already planned for it. Welcome to your new life, boss. 3 weeks later, another woman appeared at the Devil's Keep. Mid-30s, bruised face hidden under makeup, carrying nothing but a purse. Her name was Sarah Mitchell. She was running from her boyfriend. He was connected, political circles. The police wouldn't help. Raven had given her Claire's number. Claire took one look at her and saw herself. 6 weeks ago, terrified, desperate, at the end of her rope. She led Sarah to the back office, sat her down, held her hand. Let me tell you a story, Claire said gently, about a woman who walked into a bar with $20 and nowhere else to go. She told Sarah an abbreviated version of her own journey. Sarah listened, hope growing in her eyes for the first time in who knew how long. You really think I can start over? I know you can, because I did, and I'll help you do the same. An hour later, 3 members, Colt, Wrench, and Reaper, left with information about Sarah's boyfriend. They returned 3 hours later, bloodied knuckles, satisfied expressions. Sarah's boyfriend is at the ER, Colt reported. Broken jaw, 3 broken ribs, both hands shattered. He won't be hitting anyone for a long time. Claire should have felt something. Guilt, horror, doubt. Instead, she felt satisfaction. Cold and clean. Thank you. No thanks needed. That's what we do. Colt paused. Sarah's asking for you. Claire found Sarah in the bar crying, but not from fear, from relief. Is it really over? The violence, yes. The healing, that's just beginning. But you're safe now, I promise. What do I do now? Now, Claire smiled. Now you start rebuilding, and I'm going to help. We all are. A week later, Colt approached Claire with the job offer she'd been waiting for. Phoenix is almost ready. 2 more weeks until opening. You still in? Absolutely. Good, because we've already got 3 women lined up who need it. Word spreading fast. That night, Claire stood on the roof of the Devil's Keep, looking out over San Bernardino. The city sprawled below, full of danger and possibility in equal measure. Her phone buzzed. A text from Raven. Girls' night tomorrow. Mandatory. Celebrating you. Claire smiled. Then a shadow appeared beside her. Not a threat. She'd learned to sense those. A man. Quiet. Carrying 2 beers. Thought you might want company, he said. Nash Sterling, the mechanic who worked in the garage behind the bar. 34. Kind eyes. Grease under his fingernails. Widow who'd lost his wife to cancer 5 years ago. She'd seen him around, noticed the way he looked at her, not like Garrett had, not with possession, with something softer, interest, respect. How'd you know I was up here? Raven told me. He handed her a beer. Said you might need someone to talk to, or just someone to sit with quietly. I'm good at both. They sat on the edge of the roof, legs dangling, drinking in comfortable silence. Heard about what you did, Nash said eventually. Standing up to your ex like that took guts. Or stupidity. Sometimes they're the same thing. He smiled, transformed his whole face. Your car's been making a noise, by the way. Thought I'd take a look at it. I can't really afford repairs right now. No charge. Family takes care of family. He pulled out a rag, wiping his hands. Besides, you're going to need reliable transportation when you start running the Phoenix. You heard about that. Everyone's heard about it. First woman to run her own Brotherhood bar. Big deal. You're making history. They talked about nothing, about everything, about loss and rebuilding and finding purpose in unexpected places. Nash told her about his wife, the cancer, the slow death, the falling apart after. Bishop found me sleeping in my truck outside a hardware store, gave me a job in the garage, gave me a purpose, saved my life. Sounds familiar? Yeah, I thought you might get it. He looked at her, really looked at her. What it's like to lose everything and have to rebuild from nothing. Claire felt something shift in her chest. Not love, not yet, but possibility, connection, the beginning of something that could be good. I'm not ready, she said softly. For anything. I just got out of hell. I need time. I know, Nash stood. But when you are ready, I'm here. No pressure, no expectations, just I'm here. After he left, Claire stayed on the roof until the stars came out, thinking about everything that had happened, everything still to come. She'd walked into the Devil's Keep 6 weeks ago with $20 and a death wish. Now she had a family, a purpose, a future, and maybe eventually love. 3 months later, the Phoenix opened its doors. Claire's bar, her rules, her vision. The design was warm but secure. Signs in the bathrooms listed domestic violence hotlines. Safe words staff could use. Panic buttons under the bar. Security cameras. Everything needed to keep women safe. The team was all women who'd survived abuse. Sarah Mitchell, a woman named Jennifer, another named Melissa, each with her own story, each rebuilding. Ash Wheeler transferred as head of security, now a full member loyal to Claire and her mission. Opening night was packed. Brotherhood members, other MC clubs who'd heard about the mission, civilians who wanted to support it, women who needed to see that escape was possible. Bishop gave a speech. This bar represents second chances. Anyone comes here looking for trouble, looking to hurt these women, they answer to the Iron Brotherhood. The crowd roared approval. Claire stood behind the bar wearing her associate vest with pride. A new patch added Phoenix founder. She poured drinks, smiled, talked with everyone, and felt for the first time in 4 years genuinely happy. Midway through the night, the door opened. A young woman walked in, mid-20s, bruised face, terrified eyes, carrying nothing but a small purse, keys clutched in shaking hands. She looked exactly like Claire had looked 3 months ago. The woman approached the bar hesitantly. I saw the sign. You're hiring. Claire's heart broke and soared simultaneously. What's your name? Melissa Brooks. I need work. Need somewhere safe. I can't. Her voice broke. Tears fell. Claire came around the bar, took Melissa's hand gently. You're safe here. I promise you're safe. She led her to the back office, sat her down. Let me tell you a story about a woman who walked into a bar with nothing. Back at the celebration, Wrench raised his glass. To Iron Rose, the Phoenix has risen. The room erupted. Raven hugged Claire tight. You took your pain and turned it into purpose. That's beautiful. Colt nodded approval. You've done more than survive. You've thrived, and you're helping others do the same. Late that night, after everyone left, Claire stood alone in the Phoenix, her bar, her sanctuary, her mission. Nash appeared in the doorway. Thought you might want company for cleanup. I'd like that. They worked in comfortable silence, side by side. When the last glass was washed, Nash turned to her. I know you said you weren't ready, and I've been patient, but I need you to know something. He took her hand. I'm falling for you, Claire. Have been for months, and I'm willing to wait as long as it takes. But I needed you to know. Claire looked at him, at the kindness in his eyes, the strength in his hands, the patience in his smile. She thought about Garrett, about control masquerading as love, about violence wrapped in apologies. And she thought about Nash, about respect, about space, about waiting without demanding. I'm not ready for love, she said honestly, but I think I'm ready to try. Nash smiled. That's all I'm asking, a chance. He kissed her. Gentle, sweet. Nothing like Garrett's kisses had been. This wasn't about possession. It was about connection, choice, freedom. When they pulled apart, Claire was crying. Happy tears, she whispered. I didn't know I could still have those. A week later, her mother called. First contact in 9 months. Claire, is that really you? Yes, Mom, it's me. They talked for an hour. Claire explained her new life, the edited version. Her mother cried. I'm so sorry I didn't help you sooner. You didn't know. I didn't let you know. I was ashamed. Can I see you? Claire hesitated. Reconnecting with her old life felt dangerous, but she wasn't running anymore. Yes, come visit the Phoenix. I'll show you what I've built. 1 week later, her mother came, walked into the Phoenix, saw the photographs on the wall, each woman a survivor, each a fighter, saw Claire, confident, strong, alive. You found your place. I found my family, my purpose, myself. They hugged, both crying. As her mother left, Bishop appeared. Got something for you. He handed her a new vest, not associate, full member. Phoenix chapter, first woman in Iron Brotherhood history to earn a full patch. Claire stared, overwhelmed. I, I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep doing what you're doing, protecting women, building hope, being the Phoenix. She put on the vest, looked in the mirror. The woman staring back was unrecognizable from 3 months ago. This was who she'd always been meant to be. Melissa appeared for her shift, saw the patch, eyes widened. You're a full member. Just got patched. You're going to teach me how to do that, become strong, like you. Claire put her arm around Melissa. I'm going to teach you how to save yourself, because that's what we do here. We don't wait for rescue. We become our own heroes. 6 months later, the Phoenix had expanded. 3 locations across Southern California, 20 women employed, 10 in transitional housing, partnerships with legitimate shelters. Bishop was proud. You built something that'll outlast all of us. The club officially sponsored the Safe Haven Network. Other MC clubs joined. The culture shifting, from outlaws to protectors. One quiet afternoon, Claire received a letter, no return address. Inside, a newspaper clipping. Garrett Blackwell arrested. Tax evasion, facing 5 years federal prison. Business collapsed. Connections severed. A note attached, karma's a bitch. Thought you'd want to know. H.D. Holden Drake, the P.I. Claire felt nothing, no satisfaction, no anger, just emptiness where Garrett used to live in her mind. She showed Nash. How do you feel? Nothing, he's irrelevant. That's freedom. Nash proposed a month later, simple silver band. I don't have much, but I have loyalty, love, forever. Will you marry me? Yes. The wedding was MC tradition. Outdoors, 200 guests. Bishop walked her down the aisle. Never got to walk Sarah, let me do this. I'd be honored. The vows were traditional with MC additions. I pledge my loyalty, my protection, my heart. Through rides and fights, through calm and chaos. Till death or the highway takes me. At the reception, speeches were perfect. Wrench Nash found his old lady. Claire found her warrior. Raven. I watched her transform, victim to survivor to queen. Bishop, my daughter would have loved you. You honor her memory. All bikers revved engines, sound like thunder. Claire and Nash kissed in the center. 1 year after the wedding, Claire stood in the Phoenix, pregnant, running a network beyond her wildest dreams. 5 locations, 35 women, expanding west. Sarah Mitchell managed location 2, confident, strong, transformed, training a new arrival. 1 year ago, I was you. Today, I'm here. You can be too. Bishop, now 56, stood beside Claire. When she's old enough, you'll teach her. Claire's hand on her belly. The baby kicked. I'll teach her what real strength is. Not guns, not fists, standing for what's right. That's the Iron Heart. That's the only heart worth having. Nash appeared, wrapped arms around her. You okay? Better than okay. I am home. Through the window, the Devil's Keep across town. Where it started. Where a broken woman walked in with $20. Where she found family. Purpose. Herself, the sunset over San Bernardino. Orange and red, Phoenix colors. Claire smiled. They saved me. Now I save others. This is my family, my purpose, my legacy. I am Claire Rivers. I am Iron Brotherhood. I am free. This was just the beginning.